listeners and viewers and everybody in the background of Grazilia Nieto. Can you not have a word, Jeff? It's really loud. You need to go and have a word.
Yeah. I can move to a quieter place, I'm on.
Is it a customer?
No, it's just one of the suppliers. It's just got a loud voice.
Unless he wants to come on the show and talk about, tell him that we can hear everything.
Well, he is from the fire safety. He's from a fire safety company. So, unfortunately,
I'm not promoting any fire safety company live unless he's paying us. Sandeep, where you gone? Get here.
I thought Sandeep was going to hang around.
Hello, G. Can you hear me?
Hey, namaste. Sasrika.
Sasrika, assalamu alaikum, and good morning.
Bonjour.
Sandeep, I don't know why, but when I saw you, I thought Santa Claus. Why would that be?
Santa Claus.
I've got some nonsense like presents or something in the background or what?
You know what? We've put our Spice banner up in the studio, so that's what it looks like. It's like red and white, but the light's shining on it, so it kind of distorts it a little bit.
It looks as if it's like almost a virtual thing, is what it looks like.
We put a banner up. How you doing, boys? Long time no speak.
Brilliant. It's brilliant to do this. It's
wave at each other.
I can see the studio. That's what it looks like.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love coming to the studio. You know, during lockdown, everyone's trying to do this home broad. I just couldn't do it. I've got to come into the studio.
Really?
I'm a bit old school like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. What we need some of that old school type of vibe going on. Otherwise, we would just be sat digitally, not seeing or talking to people, right? As in, it's anyway.
How's it going?
You could even be playing the theme to couldn't you? Yeah. Good morning, listener. Eye of the Tiger. Or
Eye of the Tiger. I could put that on for you if you want.
That was our song, wasn't it, Jeff?
It was.
Used to be.
Yeah. It still is, man. It
So
still is.
Sandeep, how are things going with yourself? I haven't caught up for you for a while. What's keeping you busy?
Yeah, things are going good, Jeff. It's been a busy old summer with lots of things going on. Obviously, all our event stuff and millas and, lots of great stuff. And lots of stuff at the temple going on. We've just done the Diwali fireworks thing, which was phenomenal. So, yeah, just lots of different stuff. So it's been really, really good. Yeah, not bad. How about you guys? I see you've been, obviously, the ABC Awards was amazing.
It was, thank you as always for helping make the magic happen. Super Sandeep Kapoor, as you're now retitled on Zoom. But let's just very briefly before we come on to that, let's do the show proper. Good morning, listeners. You're listening to Ammar and
Jalf.
And
Sandeep.
Yeah, it's the trio. It's always good. 3 is a magic number. And I've lost my lines. But anyway, each week we'll bring you some news, views, and 1 or 2 clues. Is that your line or my line?
I think that's my one, Ammar.
Is it? All right. It's whose line is it anyway? Is what they say. Is what they say. But yeah, anyway, you're listening to Ammar and Jalf, and each week we bring you some news. Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, promote the ethnic and wider communities. Jalf, that's you next.
We'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops, whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business. We can help.
We can, and we do. And Super Sandeep Kapoor, for any of those aliens who have just tuned in for the first time, tell us who you are, what you do, why you do it.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only one Super Sandeep Kapoor here.
You know what? I just want to, you just went to the old school thing for a second. I just want to interrupt your show with something really old school. That was the signature. You ready?
Yeah.
of this show.
I,
I don't know if you can hear this or not.
yeah. Um,
I didn't hear any of that,
Did
Sandy.
you hear? Did you hear it?
no, it's
Amar,
Oh,
did
just
you
Sandy
hear it?
just doing this. Sandy's just doing this. It's like one of those silent disco things where you
Only I
you've,
can hear it.
you've got the
It
you've
was
got the headphones on and you're doing all of the moves, and everyone else around you is like, "What is that in his head?"
this is
Um,
the Eye of the Tiger, Jaff, for your just playing
oh,
that a little
okay.
bit for you.
Brilliant.
Can I just
but
say, guys, it's been I've just been thinking about this. Show business has been on Spice FM for 16 years.
Jesus.
crazy, isn't it?
Crazy,
Uh,
man.
and it's
It's
16
brilliant.
years, you
I
guys, and
enjoy
it's
it.
been the same slot pretty much 16 years, and both of you coming on. So I just want to applaud you for your consistency and just
Wow.
doing it every week, taking time out of your schedules. I know you're both very busy people every single week.
Yeah, we enjoy
Yeah.
it. Sandeep,
Yeah.
it's a great community show, and it's a great community station.
Yeah,
I feel as if what you've done with Spice FM and scaled it and, constantly been there, improved it, stuck a big aerial on the top of the beacon, moved from upstairs pirate radio. I enjoyed the whole pirate radio feel to it, right? Because there used to be back in the heyday, there was Weir FM,
yeah.
which started off as a pirate radio dance station.
Oh
And,
my
I
God.
met the guys a couple of times, and it was done from someone's house type thing. And
Yeah,
anyway, brilliant, brilliant. And you know what? We've all grown up together, haven't we?
absolutely.
I'm not just saying this as in the last sort of 20 years, we've,
Yeah,
we've spent more than a third of our lives
yeah.
together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's phenomenal. I mean, yeah, you're right. The old pirate radio when we used to go in the loft and do the radio show at the top
Yeah.
of that. God
With
knows
that,
what shop it
with
was.
with our hoodies on in case anyone saw us.
Yeah.
But I think, Sandeep, I think for me one of the most important things is just maintaining that grassroots connection with the community.
Yeah.
I think regardless of how busy we are, what we are involved in, and like you said, including your good self, everyone is so busy and we've got so many other things, that we're involved in. But
Yeah.
keeping that connection with the community and grassroots. And for myself, I get the opportunity to see kind of Ammar every Friday because otherwise, you're not. I would have to make an appointment because of his schedule, and I would be right at the bottom of the list. So at least there's a way sneakily I can kind
Yeah.
of get a bit of
That's it.
priority on his time. So
Hey, Jeff, don't
so
you be taking my lines just because I took your lines. Because I've been saying that for like 16 years is what I've been saying. It's not
no,
me who
you're
misses
the one
a
that's got
show.
the
It's
one that's
not.
got
Listen, let's just look
diaries
at
on my
your
phone.
attendance. You've never turned up.
Your
I've
diaries that
still
are
never
full
got a
6
letter from
weeks
your
in
mum,
advance.
right?
Hmm?
For like weeks. You don't turn up for weeks. I'm sat here talking to myself. And it's like every single week, I'm like, oh, Jeff's going to be here. And then it's like, oh, I'm really sorry. Can I skip PE today, please? My son isn't well. There's like, I don't even get those letters anymore. It's the thing. It's like, it's not me who's too busy for you.
You,
Anyway,
what you need to
let's
do
not have
is
a domestic.
like my Nathan's school setup, right? These days you don't ring in. You've got an email address, absence at whatever school. So you should
Yeah,
do absence at show business and give it to Jaff and he
yeah.
can email.
You can. Yeah. Well, WhatsApp. I've got a WhatsApp group dedicated to it.
Oh,
It's like
amazing.
so the figures, not that it's a competition, is I've done the sort of 2,747 shows. Jeff's done. Yeah, it'd be good to and if I reflect, Sandeep, that the other thing that I'm incredibly proud of is the platform that allows us to bring ministers, MPs.
Yeah.
We've had generals, we've had like such a mix of people from sort of business leaders, all the way through to sort of community individuals and people.
Yeah.
Last week we had a disability expert on talking about his experiences, and it's just nice, isn't it, to
It's
connect?
absolutely brilliant. I mean, I try to listen pretty much every Friday. I'm lucky enough to listen most Fridays, and it's the variety of things you have on every week. It's really, really good. So I've got to applaud. People think, apart from my show where I just roll in late usually and just put up a few faders, but it takes a lot of time to prep your guests and stuff, which I'm sure you guys do. So I really appreciate it. It's such a good show, such a great show. Thank you very much, guys.
No, no, thank you. Thank you. I mean, I don't need to actually, if I screenshot this, everyone smile. Jeff, try smiling. Turn that frown upside down.
That's what I need
As
to
my
do.
as my
That's
as my daughter
that
my
frown.
daughter would say. Um, I don't know. I look a bit special in that picture. Anyway, let me drop that picture there. Got it. Let's do this and let's do show business with Sandeep. And you can tell it's a live show, is what it is, because it's live. Anyway, the other
None of this
thing
was
that
rehearsed.
yeah, well, I was going to say actually, I've got a dedicated team who put like these things together. So what people don't hear is they don't see the presentation that we have produced every single week.
Hmm.
Because not only is the show broadcast via digital DAB on the airwaves, we also record it and it's videoed, so it's captured. Um, and every single week, my team produce a range of things. We have guest shows, we have guests on, and we have a range of topics. So there's actually quite a lot of production that goes into the show that people listening may not be aware of. And one of the key core reasons, Sandeep, why let me stop sharing this. Why we sort of revert to doing it online. Because coming into the studio trying to film both Jaff and I on Zoom makes it a bit more challenging.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. And we've had, I mean, we've seen the landscape change so drastically from when we all started back 16 years ago in that loft
Yeah.
to where we are now. And you've just got to embrace that sort of digitalization of everything. And it's really good. I just want to say on the DAB thing, I'm really sort of really proud that we've gone on DAB at Spice been about 1.5 years now. So our biggest complaint for listeners was always, oh, the FM signal fizzles out. I was listening to DAB all the way from I was in Darras Hall all the way to the city centre. Absolutely brilliant. So I highly recommend if you want to get a good signal in your car, DAB it. It's going to be really good.
But it's international.
Yeah.
So as DAB, people can, sort of tune in internationally using the digital channel, can't they?
So our DAB, we haven't scaled to that scale yet. We're available more locally. So
Okay.
Newcastle, Gateshead, North Tyneside, South Tyneside. So, I mean, our reach at the minute is
Yeah.
phenomenal. We reach about a population of 800,000, which is really massive to compare what we were on FM.
Yeah, brilliant.
But
But
we
do
are
we not
international.
still do we
Sorry,
not
go on.
still broadcast online, as in people can tune in?
Absolutely. And we get phenomenal figures online. People,
Yeah.
if you look at our thing, you've got people tuning in from India and
Yeah.
America and Canada. And I'm like, wow, it's quite mind-blowing actually, because you can see where people have tuned in from.
Yeah.
We're on all these platforms, Radio Garden and all that. So people just tune in for curiosity sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, we've had people from across the globe. I mean, obviously, last week I was sat in Riyadh, at
Yeah.
Biban with my outfit on, just
So
for authenticity as well. I mean, gosh, Sandy, Jaff, Saudi Arabia is just like phenomenal. What's going on out there? It is crazy.
Yeah.
and I done a talk, and then I was on a panel, and immediately after I finished the panel, one of the top people from the government came over and said, Ammar, I'm wondering, we have the World Investment Conference in 2 weeks' time. What's the chances of you coming and speaking there for us, for the Saudi government? And I was
Wow.
like, the World Investment Conference. So I'm flying back out there
Amazing.
in a weekend, not this weekend, the weekend after, and they're flying me out, and I'm talking with the minister from Austria and the head of the Digital Organization Corporation
Oh
globally.
my
So
God.
it's like it's yeah, I mean, there's great stuff going on, and it's nice because obviously some of the skills development on speaking happens because we get the opportunity to do this, right? As in, so you too can have a radio show, because that's the other thing that I love is that it's so inclusive,
Mm.
Spice FM.
Yeah.
And we have such a breadth and depth of world music and representation from all communities. But then we have such a great caliber of speakers and business, Jaff's like the world's best restaurateur, right? As in
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Sandeep,
That's
Sandeep's the best events organizer, in the world. Anyway, Sandeep, tell us a little bit more, because before we come on to Jaff, and we talked a bit about Jaff last week, but I think now that it's open and it's out there in the open, and every dude is going to dude. I think it's a great thing to hear about. Have you been to his restaurant yet?
To Just Restaurant.
Yes.
Many times. Which one? You've got many.
no,
Oh,
no. I haven't.
dude, the new one.
Yeah.
No, but I've been hearing a lot of hype about it. Are we open? Are we up and running now, Jeff?
Um,
Monday.
Officially,
Monday.
Sandeep. Maybe Amal. Well, you're gonna ask Sandeep some questions first, and then maybe I'll do the
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Sandeep, you're now and one of the things that I have was so proud of, and was elated about, was your appointment as president of the Mandir. I think that for me, bringing you in was the right thing, but having someone who appreciates all communities, has a 360 view, is just beautiful. And not only are you breaking down barriers, not only are you opening up, the Mandir to everyone and anyone, you're also then year on year, creating these opportunities to bring lots of communities together. And last weekend or the weekend before, even it was the Diwali festival that you hosted, for was it the second or third year? Is what it is. Tell us about that.
Well, the Diwali, thank you very much. By the way, Amal, that's very sweet of you. And the Diwali, the Mandir thing, it's like, the same Punjabi, the Punjabi term, "Enu papi nu president bana deta." So basically meaning you've made a sinner the president of the Hindu temple. Um, but I mean, cut a long story short, it's something I've been on the committee for many years, but for me, a place of worship and the Hindu temple is not only a place of worship, but for me, it's a community base, and we've all got a responsibility, and almost we're all stakeholders in our wider communities. So it's really important for me that the Hindu temple embraces and engages with every community. It was particularly, I was really proud this year to set up with my really good friend Irfan from the Faizane Bahu Mosque. We set up while the riots were going on, we came together as places of worship. There was a mosque, there was churches, there was the temple, there was the Ishkon temple, which is another temple, and we termed ourselves as Power, which is places of worship against racism. So I think it's very much the theme for all of our places of worship, and especially when we're very much driving this at the Hindu temple, where we want people to come in and see what we do. And the Diwali festival, the fireworks festival. I mean, it's actually been happening for about 15 years. And what it was originally was we just wanted to provide a safe and controlled environment for the Hindu community to enjoy some fireworks at Diwali. But this year we were supported by Newcastle City Council. We had the private sponsorship from Beach Cottage Dental, and they've plowed money in to make this a community celebration. So we make sure that there was community, all our neighbors, so communities from lots of different faith communities, backgrounds, genders, even people of no faith, and loads of people were there, and it was just a big celebration to enjoy some fireworks, have some Indian street food, and maybe get the kids on some fun fair rides, and it was brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. And it gets bigger and better every year, Sandeep?
Well, this year was like, it was totally unexpected. We had somewhere in the region about 3,000 people this year, and it was like,
Brilliant.
yeah, usually we get like three, four, 500 people, but obviously we promoted it a lot wider this year, because we were really keen to involve all the communities around the area, and it's free entry, so it was really good this year. Yeah, yeah, it was fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
so.
and you and the highlights of sort of the whole events, is it, because I know it's been doing a bit of this, but this year it just seems to be sort of crazy, doesn't it?
I think after the COVID thing, we went through sort of peak. We went right to the bottom where we went broke, and then
Mm.
suddenly we were like couldn't cope with the amount of business that was coming in. And now I suppose Jaff will probably relate with this as well in hospitality. Now it's kind of petered out a little bit. It's kind of stabilized, and yeah, it's been a good year. We've been in the industry a long time, so we've made some great partnerships with lots of venues and. And on that side as well, where we're kind of on the inclusivity side, we worked with venues to kind of give them some knowledge of people's cultural requirements and needs when it comes to celebrations. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's been a good year.
And today is our Sikh community members are
Yes.
celebrating today.
Yes, so happy Gurpurab, Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab. So it's the birth of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who's known as the founder of Sikhism. So lots of people. It's quite an important festival for the Sikh community, obviously, and lots of people going to the Gurdwara and सारे ਨੂੰ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਵਧਾਈ for Gurpurab. So many congratulations and happy Gurpurab.
Yeah, yeah, happy Gurpur. I'll be there cutting a cake. Because
Wonderful.
obviously I need to go and have my cake and eat it. So I always really enjoy these type of celebrations, and it's I mean it's like everywhere now. Gone are the days where if you weren't part of the club, you weren't coming in. Every door is open.
Yeah.
Every individual is keen to share what they do, why they do it, how they do it, and break down those barriers. So brilliant, Jeff. Tell us when Sandeep and I are getting the super duper VIP
You're
invitation.
you're invited. You're invited anytime. It's an open invite. No, so we open on Monday, but we have unofficially quietly opened the doors just so that we can kind of do a few covers and understand the operation and get familiar with it. No matter how many restaurants you've opened, restaurants are very intricate kind of places, especially when you kind of open for the first time. So we know that we have to take it very easy for the first at least 1 or 2 weeks. We were committed to some large events last week because we thought a couple of months ago that we could hit particular dates, and I went and invited some of our local kind of footballer friends and and they were going on an international break. So last week for a couple of nights we were kind of had to be ready for 2 big nights, which we did, and we did really, really well. And then since then, we've just trickled in. We're opening, and whenever we felt was right. So we closed a couple of days again after that. And we've reopened, and it's been nice. We're just getting familiar with the space, with the tables, the operation, and slowly expanding the menu. So by the 18th, we should have Literally, we'll have 90% of the menu ready to go. And this weekend, we're open tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, with about menu's going to be around about 50%. So yeah, it's up and running and very slowly to begin with, and I think it's really picking up momentum from next week.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
And
Tell
when are
us
we coming down?
back to the original question.
I mean, just so that whether I don't know how much Sandeep will know about what it is.
Yeah, tell me about it. That's what I was going
Just
to ask.
very
What is
quickly,
it? What
very
is
very
Doodh?
quickly. Obviously, we've been in Indian restaurants for many years in the city, going back to my father's time, all the way back to 1969. Ever since we've been involved in Indian restaurants, but when we've looked at the market and we just felt that there's a massive opportunity, and this goes back to a good few, about 2018, where it kind of it was an amazing restaurant in London, Sandy. I used to go to it all the time. It was kind of Middle Eastern, and one day I went there, it was closed, and it was such a brilliant concept. It closed because of issues between franchisee and franchisor, not because of the concept, but the idea of having the tastiest kebabs that you can get, but premium versions of that. Great breads, done right in front of you, along with some really healthy salads and some small maze plates, all very light, flavorsome. I just kind of love that particular cuisine because whilst you have Indian food on a day-to-day basis, whether it be at home or whether in the restaurants, that for us, when I want to go out for an alternative cuisine, that's always top of my list. You have some pizza places here and there, but the Middle Eastern food, as opposed to a pizza, it's a bit more dynamic, variation of a few more dishes, and everyone loves a kebab, but it's a matter of how you make that kebab. So for us to be able to do something which is the best in class, we went and got one of the top chefs in the whole of the Middle East, an English chef called Colin Clegg, who's really renowned in Dubai, and he's done some incredible venues. I don't know if you've heard of places like Zuma and Ruya Kabara. They're really world famous restaurants, especially Zuma. So he's got a wealth of background in some Middle Eastern cuisine along with other cuisines. He's just a genius of a chef. So we're so fortunate to have him for 3 weeks, and he's been working with us for the last 5-6 months. Create this incredible menu, great dishes, and we're really happy with how the food's coming along, and the reaction from those that have visited has been like brilliant. So we have to see what type of impact we will make on the market, because it's not like Indian food, which is so established that everyone has a craving for it to have it once a week or twice a week, whatever it may be. But I think the early signs are really good, but we're going to be very patient and do things slowly and take Newcastle hopefully on a journey on something different.
Amazing. I can't wait to try it. You make me feel really hungry already.
It is delicious. It is delicious. And for all of those who have experienced Indian food and potentially crave for it, sort of looking at an alternative cuisine which still has deep and rich flavor, but is also slightly fresher in the way that it's served and produced. So there's lots of salads, there's lots of breads, there's lots of meats, there's lots of sort of different types of dishes. But and the reason why I'm saying this, obviously, I haven't gone into depth in the menu, but having just come from the Middle East, where I've been eating this food all week and it was delicious, right? And I was reflecting on things like whether it's lunchtime, whether it's evening, whether it's really late. There were a few days we were eating really late for me. So like 10, 11 o'clock. And this was the food that was being served. And it didn't bother me, as in I went to sleep, slept normally, naturally, didn't wake up. I mean, yesterday I went and had a desi breakfast for lunch, and I could still feel it this morning, right? Is what I could. The impact of it.
No.
So it is Thank you. Thank you. It is a slightly different palette, but
So Amar, that is one of the most critical parts of, and the critical benefits of this particular cuisine. I think that's what makes it so unique. It's very, very lightly flavored, very, very fresh, and it's very easy on the tummy. It's very light. You feel very light afterwards.
there you go.
I think that's quite important, and I think everyone has made that particular comment, which is what we identified as being quite a really unique part of that particular cuisine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually,
Sorry, I'm
go.
on.
No,
I was going to ask Sandy, do you indulge in that type of cuisine, whether it
Oh,
be
love it.
Turkish, Lebanese, or
Love it, love it. And I think I don't know if, ever since we were kids, a lot of British, Asian, probably Amal identify with me. You'd have your roti and your dal and whatever at home, and your chicken curry. But it was always a treat for us to have a kebab. And
yeah,
legendary places like Afghan and places like that.
Afghan?
And I think kebabs for me, it's definitely okay. Being Asian, everyone wants a bit of Indian food, but I think Lebanese, Turkish, that kind of region of food is probably my second go-to. I really, really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
and I think that's the whole thing, right? The idea of a kebab is everyone can connect to a kebab, but it's a
Absolutely.
matter of, can you make that kebab? To make a kebab with the absolute highest quality, you need to then purchase like, for example, the shoulder of lamb, which is the juiciest, the fattiest part, and you need to have X amount of fat. You need to bring the shoulder pieces in, mince it in-house, get a high-end chef that's worked in the best restaurants in the world, and take that basic kind of meat and then use some incredible ingredients that the local kebab shop won't use because of the cost, and they just won't have that know-how to do. And then you put it together in a specialist kit that you would have to source and make specifically, such as a mangal, which is a grill that does some amazing things. And then if you knock that out on a plate with some scrumptious, healthy salad and some olive oils and a bit of and a bit of oh man, what's the other oil called that you get out of mushrooms? That really, oh, a bit of truffle oil on the top. Honestly, when you put that
Wow,
all together,
amazing.
the flavors are so unique, and you can only do that by working with the serious high-end chefs, because
Yeah.
they know how to work with the best ingredients that are out there, the healthiest ingredients that are out there. So I think that's what will give us a little bit of an edge amongst
Yeah.
the others, whatever's available in the
Well,
city.
the food's been really elevated. That genre of food has sort of elevated, and I think recently we've had quite a few Lebanese like cafe type restaurants opened up. But
Mm,
I think you're right. There's a massive opportunity in what you're doing because there's literally nothing like where you've really elevated that style of food, and I can't wait to try it. Yummy
yeah, in your
Mm.
tummy
in your
is what
tummy.
it is.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
and yeah, and it is. I mean, so for you, Sandeep, it might be your second go-to food. For us, we probably eat a lot more kebabs than we do curries.
Yeah,
Because the kids love it.
yeah,
And if I say to the kids, "What do you want?" they'll always go German doner, right? Is what
yeah.
they like. Not that and there's lots of other doner
I
places
mean,
out there.
yeah, German
But
doners. I love a German doner, but yeah, it's a matter of how that
anyway,
sits with your, yeah.
yeah. But actually, the whole shawarma, the
Yeah,
whole meat with a particular type of salad, and one thing that I was reflecting on in Saudi, because I purposefully went to a Lebanese restaurant on the last day I was there, and I took all the menus and various other and some of the way that they put these dishes together with such rich flavor, but still light. It's lightly flavored, so there was
Mm,
almost like a yogurt kebab with
mm.
croutons and things like this. And anyway, I've had my breakfast. So for all of those you salivating, at these
Like me.
conversations and comments. And the other thing, actually, going back to the what the highlight wasn't just coming to the studio. The highlight was Jeff and I, probably for about 3, 4 years, I'd pick up a McDonald's breakfast. Sandeep is
Yeah, I
actually
remember.
you'd
Remember.
regularly get one as part of the handover. Oh, I'm picking up
Absolutely.
a McDonald's breakfast, and anyway, there's lots of other fast food breakfasts out there as well. So just mindful of our regulation. Anyway, coming on to business, what's the sentiment out there, Sandeep? How are people feeling? What's the feedback from the different communities? We are talking about show and business here.
Okay. Well, firstly, I just want to say, just to sort of finish off Jeff's discussion, I've seen Jeff's journey as a restaurateur for many, many years. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the earlier journeys from 1969, but I've seen him progress, and he literally is the best restaurateur I've ever come across.
Yeah,
You know, the how he the creativity, the draw of the restaurants, the ambience, it's just brilliant. Jeff, well done, mate. Smashing it.
yeah.
No, thank you very
Innovation.
much, Sandy. It's really kind words. And all we're trying to do is just, bring something to our city that doesn't already exist
Yeah.
and just try and push the scene on. So simply, look, that's what we want to do. And if the city embrace it, then we're very grateful. So thank you for your kind
And,
words.
and when Jeff's doing a restaurant, so dude, it's just gonna be, it's gonna be phenomenal. So all the best with it, mate. I hope it goes really well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Business wise, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a very good businessman like you guys. I'll leave
Yeah.
that bit to
No,
you.
no,
I might duck out
Jeff's
now.
the businessman. Jeff's the businessman. I don't know. I mean,
No, but
I'm a businessman. I
all
don't
I
know how
can do
good I
is,
am.
yeah, all I can do is maybe talk about the city centre. I think the city centre's caused, there's a bit more momentum at the moment. The Christmas market on the monument is getting put up right now. And I think that's usually big. The Christmas lights are up, the Phoenix windows are up, Greg's are kind of starting to sell their Christmas bakes and the A, B, C, and D. So I think it's definitely all gearing towards that festive push. So I think it's definitely well in motion. And I think that's always going to draw people into the city centre and all across different parts of the region with that particular theme.
It's such a
So yeah,
feel good thing as well, isn't it? When all the Christmas, I've been following on Instagram, the guys that have been putting up that big bar. I forgot what it's called now, Moose Fit or whatever it's called, the big
Yeah,
bar and all the Christmas
yeah,
stalls and the
yeah.
lights.
Nigel does that.
Good old Nigel, yeah, Nigel, what a guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy actually. I really like Nigel. Um, is what I do. Um,
I don't know if you remember, Jaff. I've known Nigel for years and years. We all used to exit flyer together many, many moons ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Nigel
Yeah.
and Matt and all the guys from Love Dove. Anyway,
Well,
it was a
that's where it all
different era.
started.
It all
Yeah,
started.
that's where it all started,
It
isn't it?
did,
The
it
good old
did,
exit.
and then the apartment days, and
Yeah.
before the apartment days, there was this peculiar space that where it was the only place you'd go in to get like, and they had like outfits that you could dress up, which I thought was a bit. Anyway,
Ha-
it was always busy. It was like that was before that whole strip got developed and apartment happened and the town changed. And I mean, the Quayside, Chase, and all of those places. I mean, I'd drive past them, obviously, I wouldn't go in. And all of these places and spaces it's funny how everything goes round in a circle. Quayside died, it's reinvigorated, top end happened, this happened, the gate happened. But Jeff's journey's been, yeah, interesting to see. He looks fantastic, having been working in a restaurant since the 60s. Um, you know, it's wonderful to see that. And then business, there is quite a lot going on. I feel generally there still remains a sense of instability. The government's announcements around, on one hand, we're making these mega funds to invest in the pensions and we're going to unlock growth, but on the other, we're taxing more and we're making employers regulations, more, and we're going to make it harder for employers, more. It sort of contradicts. And whilst they've set out like a growth ambition, there isn't any real tangible, here's what that looks like at grassroots level as well. So if you're a business, you need to keep doing what Jaff does, which is innovating. You need to keep looking at who are your customers, what value do you bring to your customers, and whether that's a service or a product. The most valuable and successful brands are the ones that keep reinventing themselves, or keep improving and keep adapting and adopting, is what they do. Saudi, I briefly talked about it this morning and talked quite a bit last week. It's phenomenal what's going on out there. And if you haven't been there, it's definitely worth going over just to experience. It's open, so any misconceptions you have, it's inclusive. I mean, the local people are like, sort of shocked at the scale and pace of transformation, and not in a bad way. You'll always have those conservative individuals from a religious perspective, generally going, we disagree with some of the things that are going on, but they're doing it sympathetically. They recognize as a country that they'll always have a few, couple of billion people wanting to come and visit, as from a religious perspective. So some of the transformation that's going on and modernization is incredible. They're doing it sympathetically. They recognize that religion is at the core of the country, and they're not being dismissive of that. But some of the activities, I mean, the event that I spoke at, 160,000 people. It took an hour and a half to get from one end to the other. Um, there was 151 countries represented, and they put me up in this in the Hilton Hotel, and they were all of the speakers and some of the World Entrepreneur Cup attendees were there, and it was wonderful to see them from China, Japan, Russia, Armenia, USA, UK, everyone just coming together, and everyone an entrepreneurial spirit, recognizing the power of enterprise. And I spoke to so many people. I said, "Oh, what do you think?" Because I've been there a few times. I'm really fortunate. And they're like, "Can't believe it. We have this perception. We have this misconception." I mean, it's a bit like, is it a bit like India? India is slightly different. But I remember taking people on trade missions to India, and they were like, "Bloody hell, this is brilliant." The people are like, it's actually developed. There's lots of stuff happening. And the growth trajectory is incredible, is what it is. So business brings people together. And I'm somewhat excited to talk about um, the bilateral links. We're setting up this trade center at the airport. Number of companies and ministries are coming over, sort of starting from sort of late January onwards. That we'll have regular visits. We already brought one of the biggest family offices over end of last year, and we're developing those relationships. So it's great. And obviously Newcastle United is owned by Saudi, is what it is, and they're all flying out there this weekend. So they're flying out today for a weekend. There was a crossover. I was with PIF last week, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the team. There's a commercial visit. They're coming out for a couple of days, so there'll be lots of promo stuff." And it's good because sport breaks down barriers, creates connections, and we've got some of the most loyal fan base. Jeff, how's the football? We haven't spoke about football. Sandy, do you go or not particularly?
You know what? I can't lie. I'm not. I don't follow football too much. Obviously, everybody follows football to a certain extent, but I don't think I don't have a season ticket or go to the matches as much as I'd like to. Especially now, I think the atmosphere and the whole way it's sweeping the whole city is absolutely amazing. And I just want to say, Amar, well done, mate. I mean, it makes me really proud that one of our Geordie lads, from the Asian community who's roughly the same age as me, has gone out there and you're flying the flag for the Northeast, and it's absolutely brilliant. It just makes me really, really proud to be associated with someone who's doing stuff like that internationally, not just like locally or nationally. We're talking internationally, so it's really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing,
Thank you.
amazing
And
stuff.
we're doing it for this region, right? We're doing it for every community
Yeah,
is what we're doing it for.
yeah.
So equally, I feel proud being part of our community as well, which is the Northeast, which is the Geordie massive. And it's interesting when people ask, so where are you from? And I go,
Yeah,
Newcastle. And they go, no,
yeah.
no, no, where are you really from? And I'm like, Newcastle.
Newcastle.
All right, okay. It's like I was born in Newcastle. No, 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 but where are you? And I'm like, yeah, okay, okay, Japan. It's like, really? It's like, yeah, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
it's it's funny because sometimes someone says, "Oh, you look like Mediterranean," or "You look like," everyone starts talking to me in Arabic, and it is something I'm learning, not very well, but I'm learning, and it's probably out of the three ambitions I had this year, it's the one that's going to let me down, but hopefully
Well, thank
next
you
year.
from the region, because we're all going to benefit with stuff like this, with these partnerships and inroads into these other sort of trading uh places and other sort of communities and other business communities. Brilliant, great stuff.
No, thank you. And
Excellent.
always grateful for the handover as well, Sandeep. It's
It's a
an
handover
extended
that's taken most of
12
your
inch,
show.
12 inch, 12-inch version is what it was. What was the first LP that you bought?
Oh my God, should I admit this on air?
Yeah, man.
Well, actually, the first vinyl I ever got was from one of my aunties who brought it back from Birmingham. One was Malkeet Singh
And
and called Golden Star.
Oh,
Then
God, I think-
and the
brilliant.
and the other one
Brilliant.
was Hira, Diamonds from
oh my
Hira, I
God,
think
Hira.
it was. Yeah.
God,
But the first
Sandeep
English
Malky.
one I got was the 12-inch remix of Jason Donovan's Too Many Broken
Oh
Hearts.
my God, really?
Fantastic.
Before you were
Yeah.
born,
Sandeep
Jeff.
Malky.
Sorry, go
Malkit
on.
Singh, are they still around then? Malkit Singh and them.
Oh my God, Malkeet Singh is killing it. He's like I don't know, he's like the Rolling Stones of the Bhangra industry. So I mean, a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff in India and America and
Does
Canada
he
and
really?
occasionally stuff. Yeah, he's massive. He's a legend. People love Malkeet.
He had a
Brilliant.
really strong voice, didn't he? Really, really strong.
Still, honestly, Jeff, I mean, he performed at Newcastle Miller about 3 years ago, and his voice is phenomenal. When he sings live, absolutely phenomenal.
Mm.
Hmm.
Top guy.
Really good, really good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Is that enough of a handover then? Can I go?
Well, I think so. Jeff, what was your first
Yeah, I
LP?
think. Hmm?
What was your first LP?
I've got no idea. I wasn't really. I don't think I even ever had one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I,
don't think I had one. What about yours?
well, so the first vinyl I had was something that I broke dance on. Was that Lino vinyl, Lino, with the baby oil, and you made it like slippier so you could go and do some break dancing. Jeff was a body popper break dancer, that's what he was. But yeah, that was my vinyl. I don't know, probably uh, Shaka Khan or something like that was
You see, you were
I
cool.
Feel for You. Oh, actually,
That's cool.
Salt and Pepper.
Ah,
Salt and Pepper was yeah, was I remember Salt and Pepper because it's these songs and it's interesting, right? Because I was talking about music and the power of music. Um, they help reinforce memories, don't they?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
a particular song or a sound will take you back to a particular point in time. So, one of the things I've try and do is play some of the movies that we used to hire and from Lala videos and the Nasibs and things like this. And I'll play them. And my daughter, she loves watching them, and she
Wow.
looks at me like, what's going on when I sing word for word, you know, and I know all of the words, and it's like, what?
Amazing.
It's crazy, is what it is, but it's good. It's nice. It's music makes the world a
I, I,
happier
I
place.
think that's one other thing I really miss about show business when it used to be from the studio. The 80s music. It always used to be, every now and then you drop an 80s track during the show. So you're gonna have to download some of
Yeah,
them
we
on your
did.
system.
Yeah, and I'll have
Yeah.
to, and I will. I will. What will I do? Because we can't play remotely, right? As in, there's no reason why we can't use the technology to play remotely.
Of course. Get Amit onto it. He's a tech genius. Get him to drop some 80s tracks on your system.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, Sandy, super Sandy.
Right.
No, Jeff, we've still got 2 minutes. We've still got 3 minutes. You can't go
Right,
yet.
lads, I'll leave you to it now. Bye.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Really good to see you,
Bye.
Sandy. Thank
You
you
too.
for your
Thank
time as
Bye.
you.
well.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
great. There's the wonderful, brilliant Mr. Sandeep Kapoor. It's nice to grow up together, isn't it, Jaff? And what I
Of
mean by
course.
that, I'm not talking about like as kids or whatever it is. It's just, a couple of decades of time. You develop relationships, you develop friendships, you develop appreciation, and you get to know people properly, don't you? As
Yeah,
in,
of course. And it's appreciating everyone's journeys. And man, everyone's got their own paths in life, haven't they? But the fact that you can still keep that contact and that communication over such a long period of time, it's actually a really amazing thing because people do drift apart or they take different journeys and you lose contact. But to have that ongoing communication is such a nice thing.
yeah, it is, and it does. And fundamentally, it's a case of um, you know, what underpins our inclusion by default.
Yeah.
As in, is around bringing people, communities together, sharing stories, illustrating what brings us, what's the common part. And I was talking about this in Saudi. I love the fact that we're able to sort of go, look, everyone has to eat, so it doesn't matter what type of food you. Everyone's born the same way. Everybody goes the same way. What you do in the middle is what defines you and the impact that you have on those around you. So it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, football, Jeff, we didn't get there. Newcastle's doing all right.
Yeah, we're doing okay. We're just 1 point off third position. I think it's a bit of an indifferent start, but we would take where we are after 11 games. If this is where we said we would be, I think we would have taken that. But hopefully, when we come back from international break, the players will come nice and fresh. Those that aren't on the international break, they're nice and rested. And hopefully, we've got some good winnable games in the next few. So hopefully, we continue in the same vein and really get ourselves into December with a few more wins below our belt. And then in January, I'm pretty sure they're going to make a couple of big signings this year to really propel us to the next level for the second half of the season.
Brilliant. Well, you'll be listening to Ammar and
Jalf.
we'll be back next week. Farewell.
Bye bye.